Hi, today we will discuss about chronic renal failure. It is nothing but a permanent and significant reduction in GFR, means glomerular filtration rate, due to slow destruction of renal parenchyma. Why we are calling it as permanent means, as the name itself it terms as chronic. Chronic means long term, so it is a permanent. And due to slow destruction of renal parenchyma, it causes a reduction in glomerular filtration rate. What is renal parenchyma? Renal parenchyma means nothing but it is a functional part of the kidney, which includes both the renal cortex and renal medulla. Renal cortex means where we will call it as the outermost part of the kidney. Due to the destruction of renal parenchyma, it leads to reduction in GFR and causes chronic renal failure. This progressive renal failure leads to azotemia and uremia. Both these terms, azotemia and uremia, refers to abnormal high levels of waste products in blood. But a small difference in azotemia and uremia means azotemia refers only high levels of nitrogen containing compounds, but whereas uremia refers high levels of urea containing compounds. Means urea containing compounds means urea, creatinine, etc. These progressive renal failure leads to azotemia and uremia. Azotemia means high levels of nitrogen compounds and uremia means high levels of uric acid compounds. When GFR becomes less than 5 ml per minute, it terminates to death. Now usually what is the normal GFR rate means, it is about 90 to 120 ml per minute, but in old people it is less than normal because of their age. But if the GFR becomes less than 5 ml per minute, it causes death. Now we will see what are the causes of chronic renal failure. What factors leads to chronic renal failure means due to some glomerular diseases and some tubulointerstitial diseases. In glomerular diseases, we will see the first one is glomerulonephritis, which we will call it as inflammation of glomeruli, is known as glomerulonephritis. And diabetic glomerulosclerosis means nothing but it is caused by accumulation of extracellular matrix proteins in interstitial spaces. Means due to the accumulation of extracellular matrix, means ECM proteins in interstitial spaces. And the next one, serum sickness nephritis. Serum sickness means anti-serum compounds, means it is an immune response which is similar to causing the allergic reactions. Due to this serum sickness, it causes some allergic reactions like rashes, fever, related to immune system. And lupus erythematosus, we already know that, we'll call that as systemic lupus erythematosus. It is caused when our immune system attacks its own tissues. When it happens, it can affect our joints, skin, kidneys, blood cells and brain, etc. All these factors together causes the glomerular diseases, which gradually which leads to chronic renal. Somehow it is related to the failure of kidney. In tubulointerstitial diseases, we will see nephrosclerosis. Nephrosclerosis means nothing but in kidney there will be walls of arteries and arterioles, means those walls will become hardened. Hardening of walls of small arteries and arterioles in kidneys, usually it happens, it is caused by hypertension. Due to hypertension, the walls of arteries and arterioles in the kidney is hardened, thickened. Due to that, it causes nephrosclerosis. And chronic pyelonephritis. Chronic pyelonephritis means nothing but a repeated attack or repeated inflammation to the kidneys, which usually damages the anatomic abnormalities, which causes abnormalities in anatomical structures. And strictures means generally strictures are used where a portion of ureters is narrowed. If the ureters, there are two ureters, if those ureter portion is damaged, then we'll use this strictures. These are the causes which leads to chronic renal failure. Now we'll see about pathophysiology of chronic renal failure. As we already know that there will be a decrease in the number of nephrons. Then it causes hyperfiltration at glomerulus, which leads to increase in the glomerular permeability and increase in the RAS. RAS means renin-angiotensin aldosterone system. When there is an increase in the permeability of glomerulus, it causes increased in filtration of proteins and macromolecules. If there is an increased macromolecules present, then it will be a pressure for the kidney to filter those large molecules. Then it causes proteinuria. Proteinuria means there will be a loss of more proteins in urine, as well as then primarily it leads to dyslipidemia. When there is a filtration of these proteins and macromolecules, then it causes nephrotoxic inflammation. At the same time, it also causes tubulointerstitial fibrosis and secondary focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. We already seen that tubulointerstitial diseases means nothing but nephrosclerosis, chronic pyelonephritis, strictures, etc. And along with this, it causes decrease in the GFR and decrease in the urine output and leads to other systemic complications. All these factors together leads to chronic renal failure. If GFR decreased, then it results in reduced number of functional nephrons. The main function in kidney is GFR. If the GFR is decreased, it results in reduced number of nephrons. If more nephrons are lost, it results in renal insufficiency, which is followed by uremia. We already seen that uremia means high levels of waste products such as urea and creatinine in the blood. All these effects results in progression of chronic renal failure. First, gradually GFR decreased. If that decreased, nephrons will be decreased. Those nephrons results in renal insufficiency and finally leads to uremia. All these changes causes the chronic renal failure. After uremia occurs, how it affects the body, means how it is affecting the functioning of the kidneys, means it impairs the glucose metabolism, ion transport mechanism is deactivated, means defected, and there will be a peripheral resistance to the insulin and lipoprotein lipase activity is decreased. Due to this uremia, all these changes will be happen in our body. Impaired glucose metabolism, peripheral resistance to insulin, lipoprotein lipase activity is decreased, and defective ion transport mechanism. What are the symptoms of uremia? When uremia occurs, what are the signs and symptoms we are observing? Means anorexia, vomiting, stomatitis, ulceration, bleeding, colitis, hypertension, congestive cardiac failure. All diseases related to blood vessels and heart, edema, anemia, pruritus, uremic frost, weakness, arthritis, fatigue, decreased mental activity, and metabolic diseases, muscle cramps, convulsions, any other kidney diseases like peripheral neuropathy, etc. All these changes are happen due to the uremia. These are the signs and symptoms of uremia. Now, what are the symptoms of chronic renal failure? Means in chronic renal failure, the symptoms usually develop slowly with respect to the gradual deterioration of renal parenchyma. Means after symptoms will slowly develop, and then there will be a gradual reduction of renal parenchyma, which includes renal cortex and renal medulla. other symptoms what we are seeing means nocturia. Nocturia means nothing but frequent urination at night. But what will happen in this situation means, generally what is the function of kidney means to absorb the water from urine, absorbing the water content from the urine. But if the ability of the kidney will be reduced, means inability of the kidney to absorb water from urine is reduced. Nocturia means frequent urination at night due to this and due to an inability of kidney to absorb water from urine occurs. And the next one, metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis means nothing but diminished capacity, means decreased capacity of kidney. To what? There will be a decreased capacity of kidney to excrete the daily quantity of produced results in excess of hydrogen ions and decline in bicarbonate productions. Means in metabolic acidosis what is happening means functions of kidney means capacity of kidney is decreased to excrete the hydrogen ions, and there will be a decrease in the bicarbonate production. Sodium and water imbalance means gradually advancing renal failure reduces the glomerular filtration of sodium, that leads to retention of sodium and water. This retention further results in edema, as the water and sodium is retained. After retention of the water and sodium, it leads to edema, hypertension and congestive cardiac failure. In certain cases, there is a net loss of sodium which is presented as salt and volume depletion due to tubular reabsorption. And the next one is hyperuricemia. This is due to decreased GFR results in excessive accumulation of uric acid. Hyperuricemia means a high amount of uric acid. It is caused due to decreased GFR, which results in easy fatigue, reduced mental alertness, muscle cramps and convulsions, etc. Acetomia means we already seen that accumulation of waste products, which is nothing but nitrogen products. And some other extra manifestations, renal manifestations includes anemia. Anemia means we already know decreased production of erythropoiesis and low grade blood loss, loss of appetite, nausea and vomiting, bad taste in mouth and pulmonary edema, etc. All these signs and symptoms we are observing in the chronic renal failure. Next, diagnosis. How we are going to diagnose the chronic renal failure? The first test we are using is renal function test. In renal function test, we will use blood and urine test, which reveals the pathophysiology of chronic renal failure. In that, in blood test, what are the findings we are observing means there will be increased, means elevated blood levels of metabolic waste like urea and creatinine, and elevated levels of phosphates and triglycerides, and also sodium and proteins in the urine. And we will see the decreased levels of calcium, hemoglobin and urine volume. Means increased levels of urea, creatinine, phosphate, triglycerides, sodium and proteins in urine, and also decreased levels of calcium, hemoglobin and urine volume. Other than these blood tests, there will be an examination of kidney for morphological changes and any other formation of scars, obstructive flow of urine. All these can be seen by using X-ray, CT scan and MRI scans. Renal biopsy is used when this study is recommended only for certain cases. Renal biopsy studies are used only for certain cases. What is the treatment for this chronic renal failure? To treat this condition, first we have to correct the underlying causes and to practice the non-pharmacological measures. First, it is a gradually progressive disease, and usually worsens regardless of the treatment. So we have to correct the underlying causes. The first one is correction of sodium and water balance. Why we are going for this means, in symptoms we have already seen that there is a sodium and water imbalance. So first we have to correct the sodium and water balance. Increase or decrease, we have to check whether there is an increase or decrease. In case of any abnormality, we have to maintain the sodium and water balance. And administration of selected diuretics. Because there is an edemic condition in this disease, so diuretic should be preferred. Furosemide, torsemide and metolazone to control hypertension and edema. And ingestion of sodium bicarbonate. Because why we are going for sodium bicarbonate means, in metabolic acidosis we are seeing that there is a decline production in bicarbonates. So we have to ingest sodium bicarbonate 1.5 to 4 gram per day to compensate the sodium and bicarbonate loss. And calcium carbonate may be given to treat the metabolic acidosis. And supply of low protein diet, that is 0.6 gram per kg per day, to restrict the deterioration. Hypolipidemic drug therapy such as zemfibrozil to reduce the risk of hypertriglyceridemia. And we have to go for administration of drugs like sodium polystyrene sulfonate, which adhere to the potassium to reduce the hyperkalemic condition, and avoid use of nephrotoxic drugs such as aminoglycosides. Restricted intake of high phosphorus containing foods such as liver, legumes, nuts, etc. to reduce elevated phosphate levels. Blood transfusions and recombinant human erythropoietin in case of severe anemia and bleeding tendencies. Adequate supply of water soluble vitamins to compensate vitamin deficiency due to protein restricted diet. And ACE inhibitors to reduce elevated BP, that is resistant to diuretic therapy. If all the above mentioned therapy is no longer effective, then we have to go for dialysis or renal transplantation is recommended based on the condition of the patient. Means first we have to observe all the symptoms, what are the symptoms he is having, then we have to go for the treatment. We have to correct all the symptoms in the treatment. That's all about the chronic renal failure.